far, we have been talking about when the noise actually penetrates from one room to another. But of course, there is also the other discipline. So I have that acoustic comfort in the room I'm in.
Everything is interconnected. We actually deal with building acoustics, the protection of one space from noise that originates elsewhere. Then, of course, there is spatial acoustics, when we address the protection of the space from the sound, which originates in the same place where we are located. It means we have to use appropriate materials that can eliminate this. Reverberation time is essentially the time it takes. Somehow acoustic pressure, which we create, will decrease by some value, 60 decibels measured in seconds. And for offices, this time is ideal when we move between 0.4 up to 0.8 seconds. If it is more, unpleasant echoes arise and unpleasant noises, which essentially reduce our performance, concentration, increase stress, not entirely desirable. So we try to use materials such as this material, which is hanging here next to me on the wall. It is the material SilentPET, which actually has the property of absorbing a larger portion of frequencies that arise. Those frequencies are mostly from spoken words, which moves in the range of about 2,000 to 3,000 hertz. It is called a so-called broadband absorber, which works very well at these frequencies and can show us the reverberation times here, shorten it to the desired value. Alternatively, if it is not an office, it is a more complex space. There are some classrooms, restaurants, lecture halls, similar spaces. So there it's not just about absorbing it. Sound there, we need to direct sound. That means when someone is explaining something on one side so that even the last listener at the other end of the room clearly and well heard, various screens and table claddings are used. In case of making a phone call, some phone booths or some kind of phone station. The differences lie in the fact that if, for example, we place that panel directly on the wall, so it's not the most suitable location because I will actually lose one side of the panel. The absorbent surface is on the other side. So if I place the panel further from the wall, then the sound is dampened not only from this side, but it dampened from the other side. That's the advantage of them. Vertical panels that hang from the ceiling. We call them baffles. By actually having that side, or they have absorption from both sides, therefore become more efficient. They can absorb more of that energy. There are different applications. It doesn't work this way. To do, we have to stick it directly on the wall. The materials must be durable, for example, resistant to some impacts. Bowls in the gym or are often used in garages where some damage might occur. It's not that easy to hang it there. So the applications are done directly on the wall.
We have our fresh project, the amazing meeting room OASIS R, which boasts amazing parameters precisely in both these areas. Getting into the OASIS is completely unrealistic, permanently booked always. What actually indeed makes this meeting room so specific?
OASIS is a special case, a small space that is always difficult to dampen in some way, so we approached it a bit more responsibly. In this case, we collaborated with external acoustics, which helped us with that, and with which result is what you were talking about, that acoustic comfort, which I think we have achieved quite well there. It is a combination of those heavy materials and soundproof, those are the glasses, in combination with those acoustic absorbing films. So then the absorbing materials, that is mainly, in this case, a special ceiling design, where both low and very high indeed, as well as those higher frequencies. There is also a special carpet, acoustically placed, which can absorb another spectrum of different frequencies, various frequencies, which altogether, when we add it up like this, then it creates the environment you mentioned, that it is quite pleasant, very pleasant. There, it's about the fact that it's not just pleasant for a conversation like this, we talk. It is pleasant also because when an online meeting is taking place, well, those are slightly different specifics, which needs to be addressed. I think that in all these parameters, the acoustics there are set up to be suitable. That one really feels like being in an oasis there.
And that means for online meetings, I need this room. Optimize acoustically somehow so that we can hear each other well?
That's right. During an online meeting, a little bit of different frequencies and various different needs that we must address. The space is designed to be able to resolve and meet all these requirements so that the user is completely satisfied.
And from sound insulation, that parameter is very high. Did we handle the connection to the floor and ceiling ourselves?
That's right. All details of the connection. We designed it, and we have already addressed it with regard to the acoustics. That means connecting the ceiling to those walls, floors, and doors such as that are used. So they are already defined like that, so as not to reduce the acoustic settings of OASIS R itself. In this case, we also dealt with it quite significantly. Ventilation, which indeed actually cools or ventilated this space, then we need some performance, some air exchange. So this usually also creates requirements for damping these. The exchange of airs, we handle them somehow advise. I think it's quite good because the effect is really good, and I think this was confirmed by many people. customers who came to the exhibition inside and were surprised at how it works because they compared. There were other similar products, we call it phone booths, of which there were really many, and which did not have this effect.